Good morning. I'd like to welcome everybody here this morning. We're very happy to have Wayne D. Carpenter, who is the senior pastor of New Life Temple of Deliverance, here with us. He's going to come and give us the invocation this morning. And if we could all, I'm sorry, he's not here? Oh, I thought he was here. Okay. All right. We always fall back on Supervisor Bates. So I'll ask him to lead us in the invocation. If we could all stand and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Let us pray. Dear gracious and most merciful Heavenly Father, we come before you today as we celebrate this time of season for the gift of your Son, Jesus Christ. God, as we move forward through this morning, we ask that you give us wisdom and discernment on all the decisions that need to be made for this county. Father God, we also ask that you bless this board, bless the citizens of Culpeper County and this state and nation throughout the next coming year. These things we ask in your Son's holy name.
Okay, officially call to order our Board of Supervisors AM meeting for December the 5th, and ask Supervisor Rosenberg if he'd lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Okay, we have an agenda before us. Any changes to the agenda this morning, or entertain a motion to approve? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Okay, consent agenda. I'll turn this over to our County Administrator, John Eggerston.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, members of the board. We have just two items on consent this morning. Under item A, the Board of Supervisors will approve a resolution of appreciation for Peggy Place. The resolution will be presented during the evening meeting to thank her for her years of service on the library board. And under item B, the board will consider acceptance of two donations and budget amendments in a total amount of $2,513.87 for the Animal Services Department. LeBaron Rescue and Sanctuary donated $1,000, and CCH has donated $1,513.87. Both donors have requested the funds be used for veterinary services.
Move for approval.
Okay, we have a motion and a second by Supervisor Durr. All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, moving on to the minutes. Any changes to the minutes for the AM or PM meetings for November the 8th, or a motion to approve?
Move to approve.
Second.
All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, no general county business, no old business, we do have one item of new business. The board will consider endorsing a regional legislative platform. Turn this over to John.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Again, good morning, members of the board. This morning I bring to you a regional legislative platform that lays out some issues for presentation to our representatives at the General Assembly for this year. It is a fairly standard package. I'll just quickly say that it touches upon the use permit and site plan extensions, and encourages the state to cease any further extension of those, covers the need for broadband funding, speaks to transportation funding, preservation of local revenues, and state funding for local jails. There is a line in there of note that would ask for a higher per diem contribution from the state. So it's fairly standard. These are issues that are prepared by Eldon James Associates, who is a lobbyist for the region. The various county administrators in the region have had some input to this, and ultimately this will be presented to the Rappahannock-Rapidan Regional Commission Board for approval. but we are seeking any changes that the supervisors might have this morning or suggestions for us to put forward.
Mr. Chairman, a couple of things. One, when referring to rail, it refers to it along the Route 29 corridor. I believe rail technically follows the 15 corridor, and where it's 1529, it's following 29. So just factually, if we could note that it's the 15 corridor, that would probably be helpful. Because when we get past 15, we don't have rail out in Reba. And then secondly, there's the discussion of devolution, not supporting devolution of secondary roads to the county. I think that we would be better off if we did not address that issue. It's not been addressed in many years, and to take a position on it at this point won't help us if we did need to negotiate as a county or in a region. So just ideally removing that topic. Otherwise, everything else seems very worthwhile to me and consistent with what would be good for local government.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I do have one comment about the broadband. As we've all seen about the bottleneck that's happening at the energy providers whenever it's going to be strung overhead on their poles, to address any of that funding not only coming to the counties, but also going to some of the power providers so that it will be directly used to alleviate those bottlenecks.
That makes sense to me also.
Good point. John's over here steady taking notes.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman, thank you. I'm very happy to put forth those three items and anything else to Mr. James to make adjustments before we finalize it.
And I think it's what you need today with consensus, right, John?
Yes, sir, that's exactly right.
Okay. Any other comments before we move on? Okay. All right, moving on to committee reports. Public Works Supervisor Underwood.
Yes, sir. This is a good one coming out of Public Works Committee. The committee brings forward a motion that the Board of Supervisors authorize staff, actually staff has already worked with Rappahannock County, but that we authorize staff to pursue an arrangement with Rappahannock County to allow the continued use of the Amosville Convenience Center by Culpeper residents. The committee proposes to sell annual permits, the cost of which will be split between the county and the permittee, with all proceeds going to Rappahannock County. That's the motion. With a second, it may be good to have some discussion of it from John or me.
Yeah, if I could get a second on that?
Second.
Okay, we have a second.
I can just provide an update to the board that Mr. Howard and I have met with the county administrator and discussed this concept, which he was amenable to. It did go in front of his Board of Supervisors yesterday, and they were also amenable to allowing us to sell stickers to our residents. They would like to make the charge to recover their costs be $28 per month. So based on the committee's recommendation, any resident wanting to purchase a pass would pay $14, and the county would match that with $14 more, and we would transmit that $28 to Rappahannock County. And we can work out, there will have to be a written agreement that we can work out with our county attorney and the county administrator in Rappahannock if the board would like to make that available to our residents.
Part of the rationale behind this is we do offer trash to be delivered at no cost to residents for up to 500 pounds at our transfer station and the one out west. So in this case, we may be looking at long-term having the agreement be reciprocal. So if Rappahannock were to come here, that would also help. And we're going to be reducing transportation for those having to come all the way down here. And so it makes sense, in my opinion, to make the fees reasonable, but still have it at a level where everybody just doesn't sign up for nothing.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to thank the committee and the staff for their work on this. I know that I've got some constituents who'd be awful happy if the board passes this, and I certainly intend to support it.
Okay. Any further discussion? All right, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Okay, Building and Grounds Committee, and sitting in with Supervisor Underwood, so anything for Building and Grounds?
Quite a bit, sir. First, Buildings and Grounds Committee brings forward a motion that the Board of Supervisors approve the permanent conservation of an area at the Culpeper Sports Complex as part of the stormwater requirements for the proposed pool and parking area currently under design.
Get a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. B?
B, the Buildings and Ground Committee brings forward a motion that the Board of Supervisors authorize advertisement of a public hearing to consider the transfer of a parcel of land from Culpeper County to the town of Culpeper.
Get a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye.
And last but not least, or maybe least, C, the Buildings and Grounds Committee brings forward a motion that the Board of Supervisors authorize the advertisement of a public hearing to consider the establishment of a public sidewalk access from the proposed Lightfoot Apartments project through the county-owned Early Head Start property.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. And just for transparency, I'd like to say that we've been working on this for quite a while. It's not like we've come to the board today and made this decision off the cuff. So I just want to let the public know this. Okay, Rules Committee, Supervisor Bates.
We did not meet, Mr. Chairman.
All right, this is going pretty fast today. It's a short agenda, and we'll see how it goes forward from here.
It's like a combined no-hitter, closer coming in here, trying to keep it going. I'll try to be quick. First, a note, yesterday, the trolley has begun service in the county. So I was at the field house yesterday and talked to Mr. Hardy, and trolley stopping every other hour at the field house and the other locations that we talked about last month and earlier this year. So great news, and working on making sure that people understand the system and how to get out for free out to the field house. Today we're going to talk about several goals and objectives. I won't read through all of them, but basically all of our Choose Culpeper goals in Goal 1 of the strategic plan. First, I want to talk about the Partnership for Economic Development and Jobs Training Program. That's our incentive program. Just to give you an update from this past year, we had 5 new applications with 12 ongoing applications. Those 5 applications showed $17,584,675.45 of new equipment, machinery and tools that was purchased by Culpeper County businesses. We reimbursed $904,333.22. That was 10 companies receiving checks. You know, some companies have ongoing applications, so they'll have multiple applications running through the system. That's why it's only 10. And no companies requested reimbursement for employee training. This has been something that's been a struggle over time. We want to make sure that we're explaining the program well. We already have businesses that are interested this year in applying for that job training to help with their workforce. We did have a significant excess, and we're adjusting for that. Previously, applications come in December, and then towards the end of the fiscal year, we process the application. The only issue with that is if there's significant changes, we have no way of coming to Mr. Eggerson and Valerie to lower the estimates. We go off of the estimates of the application. However, if the application, they included things that shouldn't have been, or on the flip side, if they're an ongoing application that is removing equipment, we're not able to capture that. We're changing that this year, worked with the commissioner already so that we can start that process early in the budget calendar so we can give a better number based off of already running the applications rather than waiting. That's served us well for a long time, but we're just seeing a lot of movement of equipment in and out of the county right now. So we want to get just a better number than what we've had previously. Some more good news. You might have saw the news that DataBank, a growing data center developer, purchased the site formerly known as Red Ace on Route 3. This is 85 acres that will allow for up to 3 two-story data centers that will add 1.4 million gross square feet of data center space in Culpeper County. The parcel will have a Dominion 300 megawatt substation capable of 192 megawatts of critical IT power, and this site is in our technology zone. I'll give you some perspective. So this is the Equinix property. This is Route 29, Route 15, and then this is what was previously known as Red Ace, and that is DataBank. They are very excited to enter the county. They're very excited of the movement that we've had, and with that, I wanted to talk a little bit about the Culpeper Technology Zone. Now that we've attracted these data centers, the best thing is for them to activate, for them to build, and for the equipment to come into the county. It's great that they've committed to Culpeper, that's part of the step, but now we need to be on the same side, encouraging activation. I would like to kind of shift that we make this technology zone not only our incentive, but also a place, something that we can market and talk about. We have a very interesting story that we've done this all in about 2 years, that we've kind of determined inbounds and out of bounds, and we've got people inbounds in this group. I would like to market that and highlight things that we can do for workforce development. That doesn't only include the data center workers, but also the construction that's happening. We're gonna have significant construction that's highly specialized. Already we have multiple partners that are in the technology zone that are committing to giving an hour of every vendor that they hire's time to Culpeper County Public Schools. They're gonna require that in their contracts so that Culpeper County students can see what's happening in real life. That's the best experience that we can give. Also encourages those companies, those electricians, those plumbers, the groundwork, to meet with students and hire Culpeper County students to work on data centers in Culpeper, and then hopefully on the flip side, get our maintenance technicians to be Culpeper County graduates and Culpeper County residents. I think we should embrace the limited market that we have created from this. So my proposal is to brand that and market it. We'll come up with a name. Maybe it ends up as Culpeper Technology Zone. It might be something a little bit more catchy. Want to have a website and signage of the sites so we know exactly where these sites are and what's coming. It also allows the opportunity for the data center partners that we have in our market to come together, and the example of donating an hour of time to do things together as the zone if they so choose. We'll able to develop workforce programs. We're already in discussions with CTEC about how we can impact this industry that we know is coming, as well as Germanna Community College. It also gives common contractors that are coming in to work on these, we can start thinking, hey, if you're working in the Culpeper Technology Zone, let's see how we can help you. Those are complementary industries to data centers that we need to think about and how we can service. And they're going to be good, well-paying jobs for a significant part of our next few years. With that, I would like to take $25,000 of that excess from the incentive program and just transfer it for marketing and to get this going. Moving forward, we'll be able to budget for it in our normal budget year, but just want to transfer from one line to the other.
It's to me.
We have about 140,000.
I think you have consensus on that, Brian. It's a good idea. We're all for that.
That's it. I hope I kept the no-hitter going.
Thank you, sir. Okay, administrators report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just one item this morning that I wanted to bring to your attention. Mrs. Lamb and myself have prepared a proposed FY25 budget calendar that sort of lays out the plan and the meeting schedule from now through adoption of the budget in May. This calendar is a little bit different this year than what it's been for the last several years, in that we have eliminated some of the smaller departments coming forward to the board. We can always schedule those to come into a work session if the board finds the need, but as opposed to parading everybody in that in the past hasn't necessarily been all that useful, we have pared this down to just pretty much the major departments. And same sort of thing with the outside agencies. You all, I think, are probably well versed in the fact that you usually spend most of a day here giving people 3 minutes to make a quick pitch about their outside agency, and this time we propose to eliminate that work session and only bring in those applicants that you have never seen before, which is usually not more than 1 or 2 new ones each year. So if this looks generally acceptable, the idea here is to cut down, again, the number of folks coming in and instead spend more time with myself and Valerie giving you overviews, summaries, talking about what the real issues are in our mind. And I think we'll get through it just fine this way, and maybe save some time for the board members in terms of meetings. And I'm just looking for a consensus on that.
One, I appreciate the improved calendar, so thank you. Two, at some point, and I'm not advocating for the coming year, but at some point, it may make sense to look at creating a finance committee. There are some details, and when you're talking $200+ million, if we have committees for rules and committees for public safety, public works, et cetera, other localities have found it worthwhile to do it in a committee format. I know our history has been to have the committee as a whole as the board, but things are getting, it's getting a little larger, and there may be some details some year in the future where it's worthwhile to look at having a finance committee.
Okay. Any other comments? Okay, entertain a motion to go in closed session.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we enter into closed meeting as permitted under Virginia Code Sections 2.2-3711A1, 3, 4, and 6 to discuss and consider the potential purchase of real property located in the West Fairfax District where discussion in an open meeting would adversely affect the bargaining position, negotiating strategy, and financial interests of the board/county. And 2, the salaries of identified public employees or officials.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Appreciate everyone coming today. And we're now in